Good day, everyone. I am honored to present to you our History Debate 2023. The topic to debate is the Cavite Mutiny. Each team will provide and present their arguments in response to the question, which side is more reliable, Filipino or Spanish? Showing on your right screen representing the proposition, Ms. Borja, while on the left is the opposition, Mr. Narvaez. On behalf of the House, I would like to extend a warm greeting to our judges, Mr. Kenneth Smith and Mrs. Rika Marie Peer. They are experienced jurors in these sorts of competitions. The first and third, final, sets have a maximum of 3 minutes each to submit their rebuttal, and no more than 2 minutes in the second set. The debaters get a total of a maximum of 8 minutes to discuss their arguments. Bringing the House to order, I request Ms. Borja to present their proposition.
Good morning, everyone. This debate is about whose side is more trustworthy, the Filipino or Spanish. I've limited the criteria to the Philippines and Spain. The affirmative speaker believes that the Filipino perspective of the Cavite Mutiny is more credible and acceptable than the Spanish. Today, as your speaker, I will address 3 major reasons why I embrace and accept the Filipino version of the aforementioned dispute. Number 1. According to both versions, the fundamental reason for the mutiny was the unjust decision of Governor General Rafael Izquierdo, who replaced Governor General Carlos Maria de la Torre y Cerrada several months before 1871. Governor General Izquierdo is reluctant to tax employees who are already confined within the region. These taxes can be paid in cash, providing forced labor, or the polo y servicio. But when the employees receive their pay, it has already been lowered owing to the tax. Number 2. Dr. Trinidad Hermenegildo Pardo de Tavera is a scholar and researcher from the Philippines. According to him, the episode was only a mutiny by local Filipino troops and employees at the Cavite arsenal who were disgruntled with losing their privileges. Tavera indirectly blamed Governor Izquierdo's cold-blooded policies, such as the elimination of rights for arsenal workers and Native Army members. Also, the prohibition on establishing a school of arts and trades for Filipinos, which the general believed was a cover-up for the formation of a political club. The last is, the rebellion started when the Spanish government imposed excessive punishment on innocent priests, namely Father Jose Burgos, Father Mariano Gomez, and Father Jacinto Zamora, also known as Gomburza. Sentencing these fathers to death became a new attempt by the Spanish government to expand their control in society. As a result, the Filipinos' desire to fight for their independence became so great that they launched an insurrection. Thank you.
Thank you from the proposition's affirmative speaker. Let me now request Mr. Narvaez to initiate a case from the opposition.
To be dependable means to be trusted. Hello, this is the head of the opposition, and this House believes that the Spanish side is more trustworthy. I want to explain why I'm on this side in 3 parts. First, both versions stated that the main reason for the rebellion was the abolition of privileges enjoyed by the laborers of the Cavite arsenal. Historian John Schumacher claims that there is written proof that Governor General Rafael himself, he authored that the abolition of privileges, such as non-payment of tributes and a tax break from forced labor, was not the main reason, but rather the desire of the Filipinos to be free from the ruling system of the Spanish. Meanwhile, the official report of Governor General Rafael Izquierdo exaggerated the incident and used it to condemn indigenous clerics active in the Reformation movement.
We thank the speaker from the opposition and call upon Ms. Borja to continue the case from the proposition.
On January 20, 1872, roughly 200 troops, arsenal workers, and Cavite locals, led by Sergeant La Madrid, rose in arms and assassinated the commanding commander and all Spanish officials in range. The insurgents were supposed to back most of the army, but this did not occur. When word of the mutiny reached Manila, General Izquierdo promptly ordered reinforcements of Spanish troops in Cavite. The insurrection was officially proclaimed over after 2 days. The Spanish friars and Izquierdo are thought to have exploited the Cavite Mutiny as a tool by expanding it into a full-fledged conspiracy involving not only the local troops but also the citizens of Cavite and Manila. More crucially, the native clergy in the Philippines toppled the Spanish authority. It is worth noting that the central administration in Madrid stated their intention to strip the friars of all rights of interference in matters of civil government, as well as the supervision and management of educational institutions. This change of events, according to Tavera, pushed the friars to take harsh measures to preserve authority in the Philippines.
Thank you, Ms. Borja. I now request Mr. Narvaez to resume the arguments from the opposition.
Except for the general's report, the two statements complemented and verified one another. Initially, Montero and Izquierdo declared the termination of benefits enjoyed by Cavite Arsenal personnel as non-payment of tributes and exception from forced work were the key reasons for the revolution, as they call it. Other causes mentioned included, first, the Spanish Revolution which deposed the liberal throne. Second, filthy propaganda spread by an unrestrained media. Third, democratic, liberal, and republican books and pamphlets reaching the Philippines. And last, most importantly, the presence of native clergy who conspired and supported the rebels and enemies of Spain out of hostility towards the Spain friars.
Thank you, Mr. Narvaez. I request that Ms. Borja conclude the matter from the proposition side.
Fearing that their power in the Philippines wouldn't go away, the friars exploited the episodes and portrayed it to the Spanish government as a firm plot planned throughout the archipelago to overthrow Spanish sovereignty. Convicted educated men who took part in the revolt were condemned to live in jail, while members of the Gombursas native clergy were tried and killed by garrote. This action precipitates the rise of nationalism and ultimately the commencement of Philippine Revolution of 1896. The narrative of the French writer Edmond Plachette supplemented Tavera's story by verifying that the incident occurred owing to discontent among the arsenal employees and troops in Cavite Fort. On the other hand, the Frenchman focuses on the execution of the three martyr priests which he witnessed. Mistreatment has never been right. The Filipino perspective is more reliable because it clearly presents and accurately describes the various mistreatments done by the Spanish to lead them to mutiny. Who wouldn't revolt when deprived of freedom and privileges, right? Filipinos do not deserve what the Spaniards have done to them. As your affirmative speaker, I firmly believe in my own racist version. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Borja. Now, I call upon Mr. Narvaez to finish the case from the opposition side.
Izquierdo in particular chastised the Spanish press for stockpiling dangerous goods confiscated by Filipinos. He told King Juan Carlos I of Spain that the rebels planned to disrupt the Spanish government to build a new hari in the likes of Father Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora. The commander adds that the native clergy entice other volunteers by providing charismatic guarantees that their battle would not fail because God was with them. Also generous promises of prizes like employment, cash, and army ranks. According to Izquierdo's assessment, the Indios were ignorant and had an innate inclination for thievery. Based on the evidence, the Spanish version is more trustworthy than the Filipino narrative.
The discussion is going to come to an end. I invite our judges to provide constructive feedback to our participants. But I'd like to remind our respected panelists not to reveal whose team has won.
Good morning, everyone. I commend both participants for their bold arguments. However, one viewpoint stuck out for me because this participant was able to present adequate evidence and a more extensive explanation with a clear point. Hence, congratulations to everyone who worked hard to finish this debate.
The road to independence was rough and tough to toddle. Many patriots, both named and unknown, poured their life to obtain reform and sovereignty. We must remember that our ancestors went through a lot before the victory. As we enjoy our liberty, we must become more historically conscious of our past to have a better future. Congratulations, debaters. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your remarks, judges. Let us now proclaim the winner of the History Debate 2023. This participant presents solid evidence and rigorous research to make the best argument they can. Congratulations to the Filipino team. Also, kudos to the Spanish team for putting their best to defend their stand. Nonetheless, there may be several stories of the rebellion from both sides, but there is only one undeniably true. It served as a springboard for a series of events that culminated in Philippine independence that occurred in 1896 to 1898. Again, thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead.